of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
Blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities. Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail is set to hit us in the summer of 2024, coming off two of the biggest, most high-stakes expansions in both Shadowbringers and Endwalker. Needless to say, the expectations for Dawntrail are going to be through the roof. If you're anything like me, you have watched this trailer over and over again. Upon watching this trailer over and over again, you come to find that the atmosphere here in Dawntrail is vastly different from the atmospheres in Shadowbringers and Endwalker, with Shadowbringers and Endwalker bringing a darker edge and a more finale-type tone to Final Fantasy XIV. Dawntrail sets to give us a fresh new start and give us the feeling of new beginnings. The prospect of new beginnings in this ever-expanding journey has me wildly hyped. However, with that hype also comes a major concern, and that's just what I'm here to talk about with you today, would be my biggest concern for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. I believe the folks over at Square Enix have the opportunity to capture something truly special in this expansion. That is, if they can avoid this one major concern. And what is this major concern, you might ask, dear viewer? Well, that would be, very simply put, the stakes. And no, not the kind of steaks that Urianger may be chomping down over at the Shoreline Barbecue, but the stakes of our characters and the overall plot and journey. Again, with Shadowbringers and Endwalker bringing a darker, more apocalyptic energy to our heroes' journey and the trials they faced, Dawntrail, as stated before, presents them with the opportunity to give us a fresh start and fresh perspective. However, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't some part of me that was worried that this feeling of a fresh start and fresh perspective can be soiled by falling into an apocalyptic-like trope or situation. Again, when it comes to RPGs and Final Fantasy in particular, the climax of a lot of these conflicts end up being something ethereal, otherworldly, or as stated before, apocalyptic. But again, with Dawntrail being the beginning of a new adventure, I personally would love to see them dial back the stakes and have this journey be more character-focused and inward as opposed to apocalyptic and outward. Now again, Final Fantasy XIV, like all great stories, expands both outward and inward, but with Dawntrail being what appears to be something smaller, more intimate, and lower stakes, I think this presents Square Enix with an amazing opportunity to explore some inward journeys for the main cast. Of course, instead of focusing on some world-threatening event, we can have certain challenges that need to be overcome that challenge our heroes in ways that make them grow internally. And I think that's what Dawntrail presents Creative Business Unit 3 over at Square Enix with the opportunity to do. By creating something smaller, more intimate, and an inward journey for all of these characters, it can set the stage not only for us to become more attached and feel like we know them better, but set the stage for the remainder of their arcs in these new expansions, Dawntrail and beyond. And again, we see a little bit of this already happen within the Dawntrail trailer. We can hear in Alphino's intro dialogue that he is cutting loose and is excited for the opportunities that lay ahead.
Blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities.
We can hear in Erenville when he asks the Warrior of Light whether or not he's enjoying himself for a change.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
We see it with Alice catching a fruit that falls from the tree while she explores the market. We see it with Y'shtola being in her own element with her nose buried in a book as she studies an artifact. And then we see it with our boy Grahatia enjoying a delicious looking taco, might I say. And then, of course, we've got Estidian, who seems to be getting acquainted with the locals. You've got Thancred mingling among the townsfolk, and Urianger, who seems to be sipping on a delicious pineapple drink at some nearby cafe. Again, just seeing all these characters in a more laid-back environment where they could put their weight on their heels, enjoy themselves, do the things they want to do. Of course, with every great story comes conflict, but what I would hope Square Enix does not squander is this atmosphere of the main characters kicking up their feet and enjoying themselves a little. And again, when the time comes to introduce conflict, make it something that challenges our characters more inwardly and doesn't present that much of an external threat. Of course, we can have a threat that is serious and needs to be dealt with, but we don't need to put the entire realm at stake this time around. Let's save that for the expansions that come after Dawntrail. Because I will say that it is worth noting when we consider the first round of expansions that Final Fantasy XIV had, starting from A Realm Reborn, ramping itself all the way up to Endwalker, we had a nice, steady progression of the stakes getting larger and, as stated many times in this video before, apocalyptic. I hope that Dawntrail kicks off and takes things slow and steady as we ramp up this new arc for all of our characters. But with that said, I want to know what you think, dearest viewer. Are you as excited for Dawntrail as I am? Do you agree with my sentiment about keeping the stakes more localized and having these characters' challenges be more inward as opposed to outward? You let me know. But until then, you all be good out there, be good to yourselves and each other, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.